Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to show you how to change the spark plugs on this 1.4 litre petrol Getz. Now this one's a 2010, but it is relevant to the 2005 to 2011 models. So stay tuned, it's a very easy job and we'll show you how to do it and save some money. So a couple of tools you're going to want to do the job. We've got a torque wrench and a socket wrench with a 10mm socket. Then we've got a spark plug socket, which is slightly longer than normal sockets. This one's a 5/8 one. You can use a 16mm as well. That's also for spark plugs, it's just a different style of tool. You can also use those. Then we have some spark plug gapping tools. You don't normally need to actually gap these, they come pre-gapped, but that's the coin type there. And then you have the feeler gauge type here. Then of course we have the spark plugs themselves. So the Hyundai part number for these is up the top. We'll include the link in the description for those. When you open up the box, you'll see that they are just an NGK spark plug. So we'll include the numbers again, but it's a BKR5ES-11. And then we just have a handy little tool. It's just a magnet on an extension that will help us get the spark plug out if we're having trouble. Some spark plugs won't come pre-gapped. These particular NGK plugs actually do. So the spec that we're looking for here is 1 to 1.1. So we're just going to check that with our feeler gauge and our coin gauge. So when we say gapping a spark plug, what we're doing is we're checking the gap in here between the curved part of the electrode and the inner part. So to do it with the feeler gauge, you're basically just running the gauge through this section here and you're making sure that it just fits through with a little bit of resistance. You don't want it to be too loose, otherwise that indicates that your gap is too large. With the coin type, the outer edge of the coin is on a taper. So as you run it through like that, it will get a bit of resistance until it can't go any further, and then you read the numbers on the back of the coin. If you need to adjust the spark plug gap, you can just press on a surface to decrease it, or, and that's where the coin type tool comes in handy, you can put the spark plug through the hole like that, and you're just looking to bend back this metal part of the plug. We've checked these now and we're happy that they're to the correct spec, so we can look at installing them in the car. So spark plugs are located at the top of your engine underneath this cover. So what we need to do is remove the 3 bolts that are on the top. So take your 10mm socket and loosen those up. You'll probably need to take off the oil filler cap, but we're going to put it back on once we take this cover off just to stop any other foreign parts getting into the oil. So these are your spark plug leads. Now it can make it a bit easier just to unclip them all before you go to take the actual head of the plug out. Now to do this, you want to be really gentle. You don't want to pull by the actual lead itself, you just want to pull by the rubber head. They can be a little bit tricky, but just apply a bit of gentle, even force. You can stick your fingers underneath either side of the head and pull upwards. And eventually they'll pop out like that. So continue that for all of them. Then you can take them out and just set them aside. And that will expose the top of your spark plugs. Then you want to grab your 5/8 inch spark plug socket, and the way it works is it's long enough that it can slot over the spark plug inside the engine, and then you can undo the spark plug like a regular bolt. And then you can see that the old spark plug will come out like so. Now the common issue with spark plugs is this ceramic part can crack, or you can just get general build-up on the tip, which makes the spark less efficient. Given how cheap these are these days, people generally just replace them. And then you just repeat the same process to remove the other 3 spark plugs. This socket has a bit of rubber inside, so it grabs the side of the spark plug to help you pull it out. But if you find that these get stuck after you've loosened them, that's where you can grab a magnet tool like this on a bit of an extension. You can put it down into the engine and grab the spark plug out. Once you've got the old spark plugs out, you can grab your new spark plug and put it into your tool and do these up by hand. Once they're all hand tight, we'll grab our torque wrench, and the setting that you want is 21 foot-pounds or 29 Newton meters, and we'll torque these up correctly. Then we can take our spark plug leads and start popping them back in. You'll notice that they are all different lengths, so there's only one way that they'll go back in. You'll know that they're in properly when you hear a little pop, and you can also feel them seat correctly. So you can clip the wires back in and make sure everything's neat. Now it's a good opportunity as well just to check the leads themselves, just to make sure that there's no damage on them, because that can affect the spark and it can affect the performance of your engine. We're happy with how they are, so we're going to put the cover back on, and that's the end of the job. Now these aren't super critical, so we're not going to worry about a torque spec, but you just want to snug them up tight. And that's it guys, a really easy job and cheap parts with some basic tools, and you'll save yourself a bit of money. If there's anything you would have done differently or anything else you want to see, let us know in the comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video.